This is the voice of the New York Football Giants, Bob Papa, and you are listening to the best throughout Europe, the Big Blue UK and Ireland podcast.
Welcome back, Giants fans, to the latest edition of the Big Blue UK and Ireland podcast. As always, we are proudly in association with Andy's Man Club. Lads, remember, it is okay to talk, and tonight we are 67% British, 33% Irish, but as always, we're still 100% Giants. It's Free Agency Frenzy, Part 2, Part 2, Part Dos, Part 2, whichever language you're in. It's Part 2. We're back to bring you all the latest moves in what has been a very busy period for the Giants. Plus, we start to look ahead to the draft, which is now only 5 short weeks away. As Shane, Kev, and Aaron begin to reveal their top 5 prospects at each position. Starting off tonight with the offensive line. Maybe it's a good thing Shane isn't on this evening in that case. But joining me is Kev and our resident offensive line guru, Aaron, to begin to look at those coming out of college this year. Boys, how we doing?
Yeah, good. Good to be on with you boys tonight. Got Shane can't be here, but he's obviously away in a stag do for a few days.
Stag.
Conveniently misses out in the O-line. Considering he's been sort of the expert of the offensive line recently. But not good to get on. You know, we've got a few more signings to talk about as well. Some really interesting signings to talk about. And we get to talk about the big boys, don't we?
And Shane did reach out to me and said, "Is there any way we can do a boring group like receivers or linebackers this week? Can you push the offensive lineman to a week that he could do it?" I said, "No, we've just got to do it. We've just got to get these guys out there. We know we need them. The people want to hear about linemen. Very sorry, Shane. We'll just have to do it without you. You just have to live with it."
And I'm sure he was gutted to hear that. I'm sure he was absolutely devastated to hear that. I'm sure he'd much rather be on here this evening talking about offensive linemen than in Benidorm on a stag do. You know, I know where I'd rather be. Right here. That's it. Right here. Looking forward to this evening. Should be, a good first sort of look at some of the draft prospects coming out this year. And where a better place to start those with than those with big butts, eh, Kev?
Oh, we love the big butts.
He loves a big butt, and he cannot lie. If you are watching live on YouTube or X, get involved in the comments, send us your questions, your thoughts on free agency moves, and also who you like on the offensive line in the draft. Unfortunately, we are having some issues with streaming on Facebook. So for those that would usually watch on Facebook, maybe you're on YouTube now. If you are, hello. If not, then I'm sorry. You can catch us on repeat on YouTube or wherever you decide to watch us afterwards. Don't forget to like the episode if you are watching. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. And let's face it, I'll be very disappointed if you haven't done already. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers on our channel. So the more subs we can get, the better, and we can spread the love even more and show the Giants that we mean business over here in the UK and Ireland. And also, if you haven't done already, and for audio listeners, leave us a review on your podcast platform of choice. Aaron?
5 stars.
5 stars, there we go. 5-star review on your platform of choice would be much appreciated. And also as well, don't forget you can now buy us a coffee or a beer or a bottle of pop, whichever you prefer. Head over to buymeacoffee.com/Big Blue UK and Ireland. You can also find a link down in the description. Share the love. Send us a drink. Come on, you want to, especially with draft season coming up. We could do with all the beers we can get. Lots to look forward to this evening. We are going to start off this week as per usual with the news. That saw a further 7 free agency pickups, adding key depth to two big positions of need, and also maybe adding in a little camp body for a little bit of depth there as well. looking at the free agents who picked up during the week, 3 receivers on the list: Calvin Austin, the third, Darnell Mooney, and returning to the team Isaiah Hodgins. So starting off with Calvin Austin, he comes from the Pittsburgh Steelers on a 1-year, $1.5 million contract, base salary of $1.2 million, and he counts for that whole 1.5 against the cap. Really good, speedy slot receiver, but also has that option to be on the outside as well. And he's a return specialist too, so he could potentially give Gunner a run for his money. 5'9", 160 pounds, so very, very slight, and came out of the draft in the 4th round in 2022. He's had production in the NFL, in the league so far, and I think this is quite a shrewd little move for Calvin Austin, and I think it definitely adds that much needed depth at receiver, along with Darnell Mooney as well. Again, come from the Atlanta Falcons, ex-Chicago Bears receiver, signed a 1-year, $3.5 million contract. Could be worth up to $10 million, depending on incentives. It's obviously a very incentive-heavy contract. Again, he's a proven deep threat and a starter as well. 5'11", 180 pounds. So he's a little bit bigger. Not necessarily that big-bodied outside receiver you might see or might need, but again, he's adding that depth to that receiver room that without Banks, obviously, don't know where he is with his injury. Neighbours. Fucking Banks. What am I talking about? Deontay Banks, get out of my head. Without Malik Neighbours, obviously we don't know where his injury status is. And, Darius Slayton is Darius Slayton. The receiver room was looking pretty thin, so it's good to have some additional depth in there. Across his career, 309 catches for 4,028 yards and 17 touchdowns across 91 games, so he's got good production, and he adds that big play ability to the receiver room too. And then lastly, for receivers, like I said, Isaiah Hodgins re-signed with the team again on a 1-year contract, $1.2 million, with that base salary all but none of that base salary guaranteed. And he counts against the cap for just over $1 million. Again, we know we've seen Isaiah Hodgins in the past. We know what we're getting with him. He's a reliable big body target, 6'3", bang on 200 pounds. He's been in and out of the team since 2022, 70 career catches. And also as well, in our postseason run in 2022, came up with some really clutch big play catches in that postseason win as well against the Vikings. So, he's been there, he's done it. And we hope that he can be a bit more productive in this John Harbaugh offense in comparison to what he was like at the end of last season. It should be another good depth piece in that receiver room. Moving on to the defense then. So signing 3 defensive backs. One of which, again, we're very familiar with. Let's start off there. Jason Pinnock. Is a little bit surprised to see him coming back, in all honesty. But when I saw him coming back, I was like, okay, I like this. Obviously, he was with us for 3 seasons up until 2024. Then went and signed with the San Francisco 49ers following the 24 season. And he's now back. He's gone east-west and now back to the east again. Signed a 1-year, $1.4 million contract. His base salary 1.2 and his cap hit again at 1.2 as well. And it just that he's got that strong Giants history, 37 starts, including that franchise record 102-yard interception, return for a touchdown. Bosh, bosh, bosh. Jason Pinnock, welcome back to the Giants. Love it. Also picked up Ardarius Washington from the Ravens. No surprise there. 1 year, $3 million. 1.9 of that is a base salary with $1.5 million guarantee. Counts for just over $2.5 million against the cap. So not big numbers there either. Versatile, but slightly undersized. 5'8", 180 pounds. Was undrafted in 2021. Has 85 tackles and 2 interceptions in 29 games for the Ravens. So again, decent production there, considering he was undrafted, considering he's slightly undersized. John Harbaugh obviously knows what he's doing. And then lastly, Elijah Campbell signed from the Miami Dolphins, used to play for the Jets as well, signed a 1-year veteran minimum style contract. The exact value or cap details aren't fully released yet, so we'll find out what his contract looks like at a later date. And then lastly, Josh Azudu re-signed with the team. Again, 1 year, probably a vet minimum style contract. Not sure on numbers too much about that. But, potential for him to add depth at guard that could be needed. So I'm not really surprised to see him back, considering there seems to be not a huge deal of certainty about what's going to be going on at guard this season coming up. So, I'm not surprised to see him back in the slightest. Aaron, I'm going to come to you first. Who stands out as best value signing for you?
Yeah, so I think the Darnell Mooney contract, now that we've got the details, that really stands out. So the headline figure was quoted to be up to 10 million. But because of the cap number, we can see that they're all incentives that are not likely to be earned, which is based on his previous season, but probably based on his best season, right? So he does have 1,000-yard season when he had some decent quarterback play, because a lot of he's a deep threat guy. A lot of the quarterbacks he has played with in his career have struggled with the deep ball, and so that's when his production tails off. The Kirk Cousins season, when he got injured and was replaced by Michael Penix. When Michael Penix came in, who struggles with the deep ball, his production tailed off in line with Kirk Cousins tailing off in that season. But he was on pace for like a top 10 receiver in the league type season. Again, if he hits 1,000 yards, I'm happy to pay that full 10 million. Right? We've seen what Wandale's just gone and got
100%.
Off the back of his 1,000-yard season, and this is considerably less. He's obviously direct competition with Darius Slayton, and the kind of there's some real competition for that number 2 outside receiver role. And also, if both him and Slayton step up to that level of competition, there's always the option of putting Neighbors into the slot for that quick game, like we used to see with Odell Beckham, and getting them open, playing the three kind of bigger, deeper, faster guys on the field. So I'm really happy with that deal. That was the kind of wide receiver move that we needed. Obviously, it's a 1-year fix, but it's because he was a cut as well, he doesn't count against the comp formula story. So there's still a potential, depending on playing time for some of the Giants in that have gone to other teams. There's still potential that we'll get a comp pick in 2027 for some of our losses. So the losses of our contracts, this contract being so low, helps us with that formula. So don't be surprised if this comes back in a year's time and we're thinking that was a really good 1-year loan. Thank you, Darnell Mooney, for the 1 year as a Giant, and off you go, and we'll find the next guy. Maybe we'll draft the guy this year to replace him.
Yeah, very true. Kev, do you agree Darnell Mooney's best value, or have you got someone else on your mind?
I 100% agree, Darnell Mooney. I mean, it was only last year he didn't get as many yards because he was, he had nagging injuries and stuff. The year before that, he was 900 yards in the Falcons. But he had his 1,000-yard season under Matt Nagy, at the Bears, and so I'm so glad to see them pairing up now again going forward. And he was one that I thought we might not get. I thought it might be priced out. And obviously, this deal's come in really well, and I think it's an absolute no-brainer. And it just shows with the Calvin Austin one as well, speed, just pure speed. We're going to have people getting open all over the field, which is going to be fantastic to see. And, you're going to bring back Hudgens as well for the big-bodied receiver. He's going to help you in the run game and stuff like that. But one of the sneaky ones I wanted to mention was Darius Washington. I think he is an absolute baller. Again, injured last season, so that's why the market wasn't that good for him. But the season beforehand, he was having an outstanding year for the Baltimore Ravens. And you can see why he got a little bit more than the vet minimum to come in. And I could see him playing that sort of third safety slot role. He might be like the backup to who's our slot receiver? A slot nickel now. I'm drawing a blank, lads.
Drew Phillips.
Drew Phillips, and he may even push him, because I think like he's got that much talent. If he can stay injury free, he will. I think he will see a lot of the field this year. So he's a little bit undersized, but I think he's a bit of a baller, and I'm really like interested to see if he can stay healthy this year. I think he'll see a lot of the field.
And you know what? It's a really good problem to have because now that we're adding depth at these key positions as well, when we come to draft, we can really sort of focus in on not necessarily positions of need, but let's take the best player available, right? And then we can start to mold the Giants for the future, not just thinking of this season. Let's think of 2-3 years down the line, even potentially the following season, So we want to be in that really good position where we're not drafting for a need every single year like we have been because we've got so many holes to fill. We want to be drafting that BPA and getting the best value at that position in the draft.
I mean, and just like the wide receiver core looks so different now. Like if you're going with Neighbors when he comes back healthy, Darnell Mooney's a proven high-end number 2 in this league. You got Austin, who's a slot receiver who will share time with Isaiah Likely in that slot. He comes in as a big slot, and you got Slayton's going to want to prove himself. And Slayton always seems to have his best years when his back's up against it and he's got a point to prove. So I want him to go out this year and prove a point this season. So our wide receiver core looks a lot healthier now and actually looks like we have some weapons now because Isaiah Likely, like I said, is going to be one of those a pass-catching weapon more so than a traditional tight end.
Yeah, man. And let's not forget, and is it when does Darius Slayton's contract run out? Is it end of next season?
I think there's 2 more years, but there's an out. There's an out after this season.
Exactly. So there is the potential if he doesn't perform this season that he could be gone, and we could be looking for his full-time replacement. So yeah, 2027's contract runs still.
And also, just a quick note as well, talk about the safety. The safety room's a lot deeper now because, Holland, yes, is penciled in to be a starter, but Newbin needs to step up now because Jason Pinnock has shown that he can start for us and play to a high enough level to be a starter in the league. Now, he's coming in, and if that's your third safety, he's going to be pushing them too. And like I said, Darius Washington, I'm really excited to see him. And Campbell comes in as a really good sort of like special teams player. So we are adding depth at these positions with these sign-ins, which is something that we haven't had in a wee while.
Exactly. And Pinnock as well, his contract, 1.4 mil. There's nothing, isn't it? So again, it's a good value pickup there for him. So thinking about, obviously we filled those, especially those 2 positions, safety and receiver. We've filled the depth chart out a little bit more. Where are your concerns in terms of what our biggest need is right now, Aaron?
Yeah, so the glaringly obvious answer is right guard, right? So we haven't got a starting caliber right guard on the roster. You could also say we have no long snapper. I don't think that we'll spend any time talking about, but we don't have a long snapper. But actually, I think where my biggest fear is, and given where we have draft capital coming up, I think the guard can be filled and bring a competition in. There's still plenty of veteran guards. The place that I have my most concern is defensive tackle and the depth we have at defensive tackle and who's playing next to Dex. Our second best defensive tackle is no longer on the team in Nacho, who already wasn't a great run defender. Obviously, we've strengthened our run defense at linebacker, but linebackers need the defensive tackle in front of them to make sure that the guards aren't able to get up onto them and block them and these kind of things. So, yeah, I'm really concerned about defensive tackle. I don't think there's a defensive tackle worthy of where we're picking in the first round, not even close. And I don't think there'll be one in the second round available to us, given that the talent of this draft is in strengths in other positions. So I think that's where I'm really concerned, and that there's a distinct lack of free agents. Although the guy I wanted was DJ Reader is still out on the market, but yeah, it's still my biggest concern.
Kev, do you agree?
Yeah, 100%. I've made a list of some of the players that are still out there that I think could come in and do a job. I think that right guard position. I mean, we can't go into the season currently with Evan Neal and Josh Suzuki, Aaron Stinney. One of them is our potential starter. It just can't happen. And I do believe Greg Van Roten is there, willing to come in and maybe as a bit of a safety blanket. Look, we bring you back for 2-3 million for the year. He was on 3.5 million last year. I mean, he's 36, but he's shown that he's capable to do a job. But I would like to see someone come. I mean, like some of the names out there, like Joe Batonio, James Daniels, Kevin Zeitler. I mean, I believe they could come in and like instantly upgrade that position and be very good players in that position. They all come with their flaws, whether it be a down season last year, whether it be age, whether it be injury history. You could also have someone like Daniel Falele, who I think could be an ascending player. I'm not saying he's going to be really good, but he was coming off his rookie contract with the Ravens, so there's familiarity there. So he could be someone to look at. He's absolute mammoth. He's 6'8", like he's an absolute beast. He's a big boy. Mekhi Becton had a really good season 2 years ago for the Eagles, went to the Chargers and had an awful season, injuries as well. But offensive guard, like one that stands out to me, and it won't happen, is Brady Christensen. I think he's a very good player and he put up some very good numbers, but he tore his Achilles in November of last season. So he won't be fit enough until sort of like May time. So you're looking at someone who's coming back off quite a serious injury, and will they be fit for camp in the season? So that might be a non-starter. And the defensive line as well. I mean, like, can we pin our hopes on Alexander making that leap, that second-year sophomore leap that we kind of hope he does? I would rather some insurance policy. Whether bringing someone like a DJ Reader, even a Calais Campbell. He's 39, pushing 40. But if he could come in and do the job and allow Alexander to sort of like progress sort of naturally into a starting caliber defensive tackle, I could do that as well. I mean, there's talk about Christian Wilkins and his sort of relationship with Dex and stuff like that. He didn't play all of last season due to injury and stuff. And also, I believe there's some stuff out there that he's just a bit of an oddball. Like, he's just not quite all there in the head, like, and he's just a bit too much to bring into a locker room. So, although I think talent-wise it'd be a fantastic signing, I don't know if it would be a locker room fit. I know people are worried about cornerback as well. They're saying, like, can we go into this season with Adebo and Greg Newsome as the starting cornerbacks, or do we need to bring in someone like a Marshawn Lattimore who played with Adebo in New Orleans? Right. Do we bring in a Russell Douglas, older player, but has been a starter in this league and a proven starter? Trayvon Diggs, he's still quite young. He's 28. He was excellent for the Cowboys, and his form dipped off last season when he moved on. Could he come back into the division, the same as Cowboys, and sort of have a point to prove? That could be interesting. But for me, I will say, I think I love the sign of Greg Newsome. I actually think that he could be a starter again in this league. I know his form was good in the Browns, and he got traded when they changed scheme, and he got traded over to the Panthers mid-season last year, which is always going to be difficult, especially for a cornerback when the game is played for wide receivers and everything is given to wide receivers. I think him coming in now with a point to prove, being an first round pick, he's got all the tools, learning this defensive scheme for this whole offseason. I think he can earn himself another contract with us in the future and be a starting cornerback. So the need for me isn't as big, but again, do we bet on that, or should we bring in one of these seasoned, more experienced players to sort of to make sure we're okay at that position? There's still work to do. I like what we've done so far in free agency, but there's definitely, a few sort of like veteran minimums or even $4, $5, $6 million per year range players that I think we can bring in and sort of fortify and strengthen the team.
Yeah, and I do wonder, like with defensive tackle, whether obviously, like you said, Darius Alexander coming into sophomore year, Elijah Chapman coming into year 3, the likes of Chauncey Golston still there as well, Roy Robertson Harris. So there is some experience there. We've obviously not seen a huge amount from them over the last couple of years. Obviously, Darius Alexander's only been in the team for a year, and we saw snippets of what he can do. So maybe they're looking at that position and say, okay, we've got a fair bit of depth there. Do we need to really strengthen there, or do we need to look elsewhere? Because I know there's none of them have set the world on fire outside of Dex, obviously. But there's 2 young guys there in Alexander and Chapman who have both shown glimpses of what they can do. So it kind of makes you wonder if DT is really a need at this point in their eyes, or if it's just a case of because we feel like we've only got Dex, and outside of that, the drop off is massive. We need that sort of someone to fill a bit of a gap.
I think it's the glass half full approach is we've always got to remember this terrible run defense. Was it because we had terrible run defenders, or was it because we had Shane Bowen's defense? Right. So now I'd like to say if I was running the front office, I'd be I don't want to put all my eggs in it was Shane Bowen's defense, right? So Elijah Chapman, the big knock on him coming out essentially was he's a super senior. He's going to be 26 by the time he comes out of the draft. Oh, sorry, by 26 by the time the season starts this season. So as a second year, Elijah Chapman, Darius Alexander. Darius Alexander's going to be 26. Sorry.
Yeah.
So Elijah Chapman, the knock on him is he's small and maybe he won't help in the run game. But Darius Alexander, he's 26. So in theory, part of the knock and part of the reason why he fell in the draft is maybe he's already had his development and he's you're not going to see that projection. He's not a projectable talent like some of the younger guys, some of the 21-year-olds coming out in this year's draft. So from a front office point of view, I wouldn't be putting all my eggs in the basket that Shane Bowen was out. Obviously, we brought in this super coaching staff with the ability to coach up players, but I want that to be playing with house money. I don't want to be betting my house on the fact that I'm it was the shit scheme and our coaches are better. I'd like to be going, well, we've got better players, and if our scheme's even better, then great. We're playing with the house money in that scenario.
And I think just to add to that as well, I think like Elijah Chapman and Darius Alexander. Darius Alexander came on at the end of last season. I thought we did see some of those flashes that we liked in the draft. But he's a pass rushing interior defensive lineman. Whereas I think what we need is the big run stuffing plugger, just that takes up almost double teams.
Almost like nose tackle, right?
Yeah, that proper like big old just pick up space and stuff, on early downs. And then I think there's someone like Alexander can come in and Golston as well into the middle to help Dex and sort of when we're pass rushing. But it's that run stuffing, big old body in the middle that just the running back basically runs into and goes nowhere is kind of what we're missing from this team.
No, I agree. And I think you look at the size of the guys I just mentioned, outside of Dex, the next biggest is Darius Alexander in terms of weight. Not necessarily in terms of height, but so all the rest are pure sort of pass rushers, really. In terms of how they play and their body type. So it is a lot more difficult for them to stop the run. But yeah, I think we just need that big guy in the middle just to stop the run. And I think Calais Campbell's a good shout, to be fair. He is good. He's getting on a bit, but maybe he turns into that run stuff in DT compared to the guy that's rushing the pass all the time.
He doesn't need to play every down either.
Exactly that, because Dex is going to be playing probably at least 2, if not 3 downs and then just as and when he needs a breather, right? So, cool, yeah. So some much needed depth in two key positions, and again, as we sort of make our way towards this draft being 5 weeks away, we're starting to see these positions filled, and it's now becoming sort of potentially a little bit more clearer, like where we're potentially going to be looking when it comes to 5 weeks time. We are going to move on and talk about mock drafts. So a number of new mock drafts have landed post free agency. So Aaron, you're going to run through these. Who are the Giants going to take according to various analysts?
Yeah, so obviously 5 weeks away, mock draft season. We're full into it. So let's have a look at what the latest and greatest is. And let me tell you, it's not a very diverse group of selection. So Daniel Jeremiah of NFL.com, linebacker Sonny Styles, Ohio State. We might pick up a theme here. So Bucky Brooks hasn't updated his since I think, but it's new since the last time we talked to it. But he has safety Caleb Down. Mel Kiper Jr.'s latest mock draft, obviously of ESPN, safety Caleb Downs from Ohio State. Todd McShay did a little flash mock draft on his Netflix show, and just did the top 14, so obviously including Giants, and had us taking Sonny Styles. Now Todd said the three guys he was really torn on who to take, positional value, all this kind of stuff. Jeremiah Love went at 4. Said he would be in his consideration for this spot, and the third guy, surprise, surprise, Caleb Downs. So it was very difficult between the three of them. Settled on Sonny Styles. Really, really. Obviously, his combine numbers were phenomenal. We can always have a Tremaine Edmonds wouldn't stop me taking Sonny Styles. So there, Connor Rogers of NBC and NFL Stock Exchange. Again, Sonny Styles, Ohio State, and Dane Brugler of the Athletic, also Sonny Styles, Ohio State. So not loads of variation in there. And Shane, as a big Buckeyes fan, will be well happy with those selections. But he already said a long time ago that if it's Sonny Styles, he'll be well happy. Sonny Styles was his guy back when Sonny Styles was maybe just outside the top 15, and now it's now not unreasonable to think that he might not be there on the board at 5. But currently, a lot of the guys above us were Love was going. Some had Maui Goa going above us. Some had Tate going above us. So all of these guys are, in that window. Certainly, the trade down would be great because, again, how many names have we linked there that we'd all be happy with? And if you went down to 8, one of them would still be on the board, and we'd pick up that extra pick on day 2 as a minimum, if not better if there's someone's really fallen in love with. But at the moment, and obviously we're not into lion season. The 30 visits are still, yet to really kick in, and pro days still going on. There's some time to change. People like Todd McShay, who are super plugged in, tend to go a bit more predictive about what they're hearing from the contacts they have in the league, and that kind of changes some of the. He's less on about who he would take and what he's hearing, what's likely to happen. So yeah, watch them change over the next 5 weeks as information creeps out, and we also enter lying season.
I saw someone recently as well. A lot of people are mocking us. Love Jeremiah Love as well. Like, I mean, are we like the Giants this year, the darlings of the positional value out the window, because we're being linked with running back, guard, linebacker, safety, all at pick number 5. Like, it's crazy to think. I mean, and also the players the thing why we're getting linked with these players though is because these players are that good. I mean, if you look at those positions, are Holland and Newbin going to stop you drafting Downs? Are McFadden or Edmonds going to stop you drafting Sonny Styles? Is Cam's got to be really going to stop you drafting as Jeremiah Love if you believe he's
Now that's a silly question to ask Aaron, isn't it?
Well, I know I should have known that, but like it's so funny to see that we're pick number 5, which is a premium pick, and we're being linked with all these positions, shall I say, excellent players, but positions that people might doubt to be are they worth the positional value at that pick? It's just really interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, Kev. You would absolutely love Jeremiah Love to come to the Giants at 5, wouldn't you? You would absolutely love it. Just like Shane loved it those years ago when 26 came across. You'd love it. And you know what, as well? Like, I as much as I love Cam, and as much as I love Tyrone Tracy, just bringing someone of just the dual threat of Jeremiah Love would be incredible, absolutely incredible. Whether it's going to happen or not, that's another question. We'll find out in 5 weeks. But is he going to be there at 5? Who knows?
But I mean, it's a discussion. It might be a discussion for another podcast. But like Aaron alluded to, it would you need someone to trade up with you. I understand that, but we are primed to trade back because there's so many players, in my opinion, that might not be like high end, like your Jamar Chases. Do you know what I mean? Like your absolute studs at wide receiver or whatever like that. But there's enough players at the top of this draft that we can trade back a bit and get someone that will 100% help this football team.
Yeah, massively.
And what's crazy if you look at the kind of the teams behind us, their needs would suggest that if you take the 2 Ohio State defenders that were there on the thing, if we take one at 5, the other one is likely to fall to number 10 because you've got the Browns immediately behind us who are looking at an offensive lineman or a wide receiver with their 2 first-round picks. If you look at if you go down all the teams, David Bailey or a Reuben Bain is going to go into one of those guys in that kind of middle thing behind us. It's unlikely the Chiefs are going to take a safety or a linebacker. So you go all the way down to 10 and go, well, actually, I think a lot of these teams are not taking the other one. And actually, if we would trade back to 10, not, worst case scenario is you get one of them, but they both could still be available at 10 if we weren't to take them. Obviously, there's someone who could fall in love with them and trade up ahead of us. If we trade back, that's the risk of trading back because obviously then people know, well, actually, I think the Giants are after this guy, so we'll jump them. And we saw that with Michael Parsons, right? We could get a little too cute for our own good, but hopefully we'll come away with a great player with that first round pick, and hopefully it's Sonny Styles.
But again, that would be very nice. I wouldn't say no to him either. I think obviously we don't have a huge amount of capital this year, and obviously we've spoken about trade back options and things like that. Personally, for me, just stick and pick at 5, take the best player available right there and then. Job done. See you later. Because what you don't want to do is overlook a talent that comes into the league and does what Michael Parsons did. And then you think, oh, why did we do that? And just have that sort of if only. What we don't want to do is come out of this draft with potential regrets, oh, if only we'd done that, if only we'd done that. Just take the best player available, just like we did with Malik Neighbours, right? Take the best player available. Bosh,
Abdul Carter last year. Bosh, job done. Don't mess about. We've seen too many times him getting a bit cute and trading back and picking You're
up.
not going to give the pick away. You're not going to give it away for nothing either. Do you know what I mean? So, and also you need someone to fall in love with someone. You need just because we want to trade back doesn't mean people want to give up what we want to come up to 5. Do you know what I mean? So that's why I always say to people, yes, it'd be nice to trade back, but when you're doing your mocks and stuff, have a look and just pick a good player. Aaron said it before in the past. A really good example, a really prime spot is our second round pick at 37. That's a great, like you see teams wanting to jump from 40s and 50s up to early because they finished day one, they go home, they look at their board, they reshuffle everything. They know we need picks, so they'll know we'll be in conversations. And that's when you get deals done for them. Because like so many teams have lots of third, fourth, fifth round picks this year with the comp picks and whatnot, and the amount of trades that have gone on. You know, some will. That's a very enticing pick at number 37. So I'm with you, Dan, 100%. Like stick and pick at 5, pick a blue chip player that's going to improve your team, and then start fielding calls for that pick 37.
Yeah, exactly that. All right, should we move on to the offensive line? Let's get into it. So over the next few weeks, we're going to Shane, Kev, and Aaron are going to reveal their top 5 players at each position. We're starting off this evening with offensive line because we determined that the offensive line is potentially the Giants' biggest need in terms of a guard right now. So we're going to go in sort of in order of where we think the Giants have a bigger need. So in all likelihood, we're probably going to finish off this segment like in a few weeks' time with quarterbacks because we don't need a quarterback, right? And also there's probably one of note coming out of college this season. So yeah, it would be interesting. So offensive lineman. We started at tackles first. Yeah.
It's starting at tackles and the big reveal of our top 5. Now Kev hasn't had the luxury of seeing how we've ranked them. So we'll see how our.
Do you know what I'm really looking forward to?
Reading the names.
I really want to see some names.
Okay, so here we go with the big top 5 reveal. So we'll bring it up on the screen now. So both Shane and Kev have their number 1 offensive tackle as University of Miami's Francis Mauigoa. I have gone with Spencer Fano at number 1. Now, number 2 for Shane, Monroe Freeling, is also number 2 for Kev. Did you collude on these lists? I have Francis Mauigoa at 2, so it doesn't fall far in my rankings. And there may be a reason why Spencer Fano is not in Shane's rankings. Number 3, Shane's got the other Utah prospect in Caleb Lomo at 3. Kev's got Spencer Fano at 3. I've got Blake Miller at 3 from Clemson. Shane has Blake Miller at 4. Max Ionacor from Arizona State is Kev's number 4. I have Caleb Lomu at number 4. So that's me having 2 Utah players in the top 5 here, and I think that's it's not that big of a surprise with the talent that they had on that offensive line. Max Ionacor is Shane's 5th. I have Caleb Lomu, and the only person on here who's been brave enough to put him on there is me at 5. I've got Caden Proctor from Alabama, the big Alabama tackle who's controversial. So, Kev, how would you like to start this conversation? Maybe we'll start with Francis Mauigoa.
Yeah, we'll go with Francis Mauigoa. The G is silent, but he's a bit right. So he is a class player. I mean, he made Bruce Feldman's 2025 freaks list, because of his explosive power. He's a nastier finisher in the run game. He's got strong balance throughout contact. There's lots of really good things to like about him. The only sort of knock on him was is he a guard? Would he come in at would his arms be long enough? And his arms came in and they met the threshold at 33 1/4. So they kind of met that threshold. But just like his playing technique, people were sort of saying, okay, because he's a right tackle. Do you know what I mean? He was first team All ACC last year. He's got a real solid anchor. He's got he's got his brothers have played in the league as well. I think one's a center for with the Panthers and Bengals. One plays for the New York Jets as well. So he's got sort of that family ties as well. So he's just one of those things. He's like probably the cleanest prospect, but it's that thing of like some people say he's a good right tackle, but he could be an excellent right guard. For me, I still want to see him as tackle. I'm a big, I like most of the time, not all the time, but I like players if they've done it in college at a good school at a high level. At tackle, I want to see them do that in the NFL before I think about moving them inside. But I mean, he is. You've got him at number 2, so you're not too far off him either. Yeah. So, what's your thoughts on him?
Yeah, and exactly that. So I think he, his athletic profile, he's a top standard. He's for his weight is like 84 percentile, so he's a big, heavy people mover. That kind of style that Harbaugh likes. His frame. He's not like he does have shorter arms on the short end, like you say, and that's where some of the tackle things. But he doesn't. He doesn't necessarily play short arms in the way he comes across. Um, Absolutely, his ceiling is a Pro Bowl player. Again, Pro Bowl probably at guard,
Yeah.
but I think if you draft him, I'd be wanting to try him at tackle, knowing that his floor is my number one guard on my team comfortably, right? So I don't think I think you draft him going to play in tackle. I think if the Giants were to take him, he'd obviously start at right tackle for us because of where we are with Illuminor. But I wouldn't be opposed of looking at, well, do you put Illuminor back in at guard and play Maui Noah at tackle down the line? But just from that kind of first year him on the team and knowing how good Jermaine was at tackle, I'd be looking to put him inside, but I'd be drafting him as a tackle prospect, where knowing that he might need some development or some, he might not work out at tackle, but knowing he will work out at guard.
Yeah, I completely agree, man. If we were to take him at 5 or we move back and go him or whatever, like he would just slot into that right guard position, and then that right side of our line would be elite. Do you know what I mean? You'd have Jermaine, who is an excellent right tackle in the league, and he's proven that, and you wouldn't move him from that position. But you could look at it long term, like you're saying, of moving Manoa outside when sort of Illuminor comes to sort of his natural sort of progression when he moves on. Yeah, I mean, I think he's a very good player. Obviously, fair play to Shane from having him there. So Spencer Fano. So you've got him up there. I mean, I like him as well. I've got him as my third tackle. But yeah, explain to us why Spencer Fano's up there at number 1 for you, mate.
Yeah, so I mean, he is clearly the best athlete. And if you look at the combine, look at the on-field drills, he moves different to all of the other linemen that were on the field. He just is fluid. His footwork is really good. His shuttle was like really hard. His 10-yard split and his broad jump were like 89 percentile. So he's there. The
boy can run a 40 as well, can't he?
Oh, he can run a 40, absolutely. He 6'6", 311, so not massively heavy, but again, he's a guy that you could always see him, grow into that NFL body type down the line. Just like I said, he is fluid. The comparisons for him are like Christian Darrisaw or Broderick Jones and some of these dominant guys. Obviously, another one of these Polynesian background kind of Div 1, locked down a left tackle spot, all American first team awards. Now, the biggest concern for him was his measurements at the combine with his physical arm length. Now his arm length came in like 8th percentile, like was it like 31, 31 and a half inches or something ridiculously short. But so his arm's length was like a full 3/4 of an inch shorter than our the Patriots tackle. What's his name?
Campbell.
Will Campbell, who we all joked about having T-Rex arms, and we had all the Super Bowl jokes. And Fano's arms have come in, half an inch shorter on these measurements. But his wingspan is 3 inches longer, right? So wingspan and arm length are obviously there's some sort of component. Obviously, you don't get to use your full wingspan when you're blocking, but there's an element to it.
Big chest on him.
Absolutely, but there was some record-breaking short arms in the measurements at these combines, and I've put an asterisk on all of the arm length measurements this year. I know I'm a big threshold guy on this arm length, and it's really important. But I'm sure teams are going to be doing a lot of checkups on those measurements of some of these prospects because, again, he doesn't necessarily show up on tape as a guy that's had really struggled with super short arms. And he probably does suit a more of a zone heavy scheme because of how fluid and moving he is. He can get that reach block on the end and hook for an outside zone run and all these kind of things. But he's just so fluid. But in the same way we talked about Francis Mauinoa, is he an interior lineman where he could be like you say an all pro interior lineman? His position may even be centre, right? But he looks like a player that could be a really good guard. But again, his athleticism, his foot quickness, his hands timing, his junior season 0 sacks. He's just like he's got all of the intangibles except for the arm length. And you go, well, do I want to spend the 5th pick, the 4th pick on somebody in the draft that's that thing? But if it wasn't for that, he could easily be, the second or third best prospect in this draft overall. So you may see Spencer Fano again, considering he's not in Shane's top 5 here.
Fair enough. I mean, like he gave away no sacks this year, and he only gave away 5 pressures the whole season. I mean, he's an outstanding player. I mean, you can see his rare movement skills. When he's pulling, he gets off that line and he gets into second level like with such speed and ferocity. And I love the way he keeps his legs driving as well, like through contact. He's sort of got that sort of ready-made NFL mentality. You sort of like measure these players like about certain aspects, and like he wants to finish people, which I absolutely love. I mean, the 16 career penalties are a bit sort of like you have to watch that as well. But I mean, he's a very, very good player. But another right tackle. It's interesting that we haven't talked about any left tackles yet, as such. Someone else played right tackle.
Yeah, and if we click back to the graphic here, both you and Shane have Monroe Freeling, who may be the top left tackle prospect in the class, but he doesn't feature in my top 5. But introduce everyone to Monroe Freeling.
Yeah, Monroe Freeling. Like I hate saying this, right, but I was kind of on him early-ish, and then suddenly after the combine, everyone was jumping on the Monroe Freeling bandwagon. I mean, he's a big boy. He is 6'7", 315 pounds. He was second team all SEC last year. He played 14 games at left tackle. He's kind of got a bit of a jumbo tight end build to him right now, but he carries it really, really well. He's explosive off the snap, really good on screens and stretch plays. He's physical in the run game. Again, he's got that sort of nasty mentality, which you love to see. What I like about him as well, like he shows great awareness for blitzers, like delayed pressure and stuff. Like he's really good there. I mean, You know, he can lunge in the run game a bit. He needs to work. He's more of a pass protector than a run blocker at the moment. You know, he's got some leverage issues. He's got a weird, like his kick slide's a bit awkward at the moment. That'll need redefining. But if you were to put like a left tackle like mold and sort of to build one, he's the type of one that a computer would spit out for you. So you know, and he's a Georgia offensive lineman. You can't really go wrong with too many of those boys, can you?
Yeah, and he's, you know, and I don't have him in my top 5 because I worry. I think he may, again, from a left tackle point of view, he's prototypical in terms of his build, his athleticism, but his tape and his and is a long way off from being anything like the finished project that we're, you know, he's a junior. He could have had another year in school. He may have benefited from another year of school, but if he ends up a top 10 pick in the draft, which is where his kind of rise is taking him, then, you know, I understand why he comes out. Again, he's got, like, you know, he said 6'7", 34-inch arms. He's, you know, he meets the thresholds. His really quick first step, zone blocking scheme. I think he's okay for in the run game right now. Really struggles in that kind of man heavy gap scheme. Yeah, and there's a lot of projection going on his thing, and there will be a team that goes, oh yeah, we can fix him. We'll take the chance. We'll take the upside but this is a big swing. If you take him in the top 10, you're taking a big swing on this prospect. But you may hit a home run, right?
100%. I mean, like the word you hit nail on the head is projection. Like you're projecting him to be something. I'm not saying his tape's bad, but it's a little bit raw, and you can see, right, well, we need to develop that. We need to refine that. Do you know what I mean? When you are watching him.
Yeah. And okay, so flicking back to the graphic here, I might just go with Blake Miller, who doesn't make your top 5, and maybe the complete mirror prospect to Monroe Freeling, right? So he's a sort of 5-year starter at Clemson, and is maybe the floor prospect, the high floor prospect, but maybe isn't the guy that you would really. So where we said the Monroe Freeland, you're swinging for a home run if you connect. Here you're getting a nice easy double with him, and he's solid. There's nothing that he does that you can really go, this is bad. There's no. The concern is he's as good as he's going to be. He hasn't really improved over those 5 years, but the floor is high, right? So I like, again, where we are with this class, I would be more comfortable taking him at 20 than I would have Monroe Freeling at 10, and I think that's why I have him in my top 5, and Shane has him at 4. I just think he is the safest prospect, but again, safe is not always the floor is not what you want, right? When you're from your first round pick, it's ceiling a lot of the time.
Where do you think he ranks on my list?
You got him at 6.
It's number 6, yeah. He's just solid. He's just one of those players that, like, I would earmark for our 37 pick. If we were still after like a right tackle, that's kind of the range I've got him going, like late first, early second. And like you said, you know exactly what you're getting with him.
Yeah, and you know, I think he's the sort of prospect that again, a lot of people will overlook because of there's he's just got a little bit cleaner year on year. But he hasn't taken a big leap, and I think, you know, there's a few people that will go, I really like the shiny, the shiny object rather than the really solid player. Now Caleb Lomu, one that features in all of our top 5. So Shane at 3, me at 4, you at 5. He's the left tackle from Utah, so as opposed to Spencer Farno being the right tackle. I think he's probably a guy that will, I think, creep into the back end of the first round because of the scarcity of these left tackles.
Mhm.
He's not like um, uh, again, another guy that hasn't really hit his ceiling. I think he's a sophomore even. Like he's a like a he's not even he's not used all of his college eligibility up. Um,
Yeah, he's a
so
redshirt sophomore, true junior. Yeah, this is
yeah,
the earliest he could come out.
yeah. Um, there's a little bit of projection of where you think he can go. But again, he is he, obviously Fano really stands out on tape. But you kind of keep going, oh, the other tackle's not bad either, right? On the
Yeah,
tape, but he's he's not quite again arm length slightly shorter, but 33 3/8, and again this dodgy measure. He's like 29 percentile. If you look at all of I can't believe the entire class are this short in arm length. Right?
a lot of the pro days that have happened recently, their arm lengths are coming in a full half inch short, longer.
Yeah. So again, but like 40 time, he ran a sub 540. He had a 32.5 inch vert, which is again 92 percentile. So again, a bit like Monroe Freeling, another guy that's got like ceiling, but again, just the amount of tape that you've got on him, he's just not like got the same. He's only played 27 games coming out. There's still a lot more projection to go, but again, a really solid prospect. And if I don't think we're in the market for a tackle, but if he was on the board at 37, he's the sort of guy I'd expect somebody to be trading up
Yeah,
for to come and get. And a guy like that on the board at 37, I think is a guy that might be the guy that gets somebody to pay to come and get him.
yeah, he's like when I was watching him, the one thing came to mind is like he's a flair player. He's a nice, technically sound player. He's got a long athletic frame. He's quick off the snap. He's got a lovely smooth kick slide. He mirrors defenders really, really well, but he just doesn't do enough in the run game for me. Like he
That's
sort of
it.
lacks that finisher mentality. That sort of like I want to put you in the dirt to put you through the dirt type thing. And I didn't see him move that many people in the run game. He was kind of just more in the way of people in the run game. So, stuff like that. Like, because if we're looking at someone at 37, I'm looking for a proper mauler, right side, right tackle. To proper be a nasty O line to go with the mentality. And that's why for me, he's still top 5, obviously. And I think he'll go late first, early second. But that's why I've got him at 5, and a few other lads are a little bit ahead of him.
Yeah, if you're like a spread offense team, right, you wouldn't worry about him too much.
Yeah.
You're going to be doing a lot of pass protection. His pass protection is his pass pro is first round top 20 like level, but his run blocking is like maybe like third round level, right?
Agree. Yeah.
And is he going to get up to that? And that's where there's like the real challenge is for him. Okay, so
Aaron,
yes,
and we're going to talk about the elephant in the room here.
what's the elephant in the room?
Why have you got a Bama tackle in your top 5?
Well, exactly where we're going to go. So
yes, Dan.
So I am terrified by this prospect. I am so glad we're not in the market for a tackle, because I think I would rather another team take him. But there are flashes from Caden Proctor that say he may be the best tackle in this draft, right? But he is enormous, and I'll have to just quickly look up his numbers. I don't know if you've got them there to hand, but he is
6'6", 352.
Yeah, 352. So he has a full 30 pounds on any of the other guys in this thing, and and he still ran 5.21 at his size, right? 350 pounds of 5.21.
You got 40 pounds on Fano.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
You know, and for a guy, I think he had a 32.5-inch vertical at 350 pounds. Like, so it tells you the level of athlete that he is. He moves like he's a 310-pound guy, right?
Mhm.
Fortunately, sometimes he gets moved around like he's a 310-pound guy. You know, his power doesn't always, or his weight doesn't always transfer to his ability to anchor. Again, he is a ceiling prospect, like almost freak outside of the scale kind of ceiling in terms of his athletic profile. But just, I'm a little bit, buyer's remorse with Evan Neal, right? It's a little bit too freaky of a
There we go.
coincidence as a prospect that
So what were his measurements? Did you say 6'6"?
6'6", 352 pounds.
Cool. Pretty sure when he came out in 2022, wasn't Evan Neal 6'7", 340?
Yeah, it's incredibly scary, right?
And he went 7 overall. And
if you look at the similarity level of what his comp would be, it would be Evan Neal.
So why are teams going to take him? That's my question. Why would a team take that?
Again, he's a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. You know, he has played, reasonably well at Alabama. Won all SEC freshman honors tackle as well. So, he's kind of done everything. He has had some injuries that have affected his performance. But it's just he is, he's 35-inch arms. He's like, he's like Stretch Armstrong compared to some of these other prospects. But again, it's almost like he's almost like he's too big in some ways. His pad level gets high.
Would you move him inside?
Would you move Evan Neal inside?
We should have done that a long time ago.
I'd move him out.
Yeah. And the same with maybe like a Mekhi Becton, right? Is he is his size point to his lack of fitness? Is he going to struggle in the fourth quarter of a tight game and these kind of things? But if you compare him to the prospect that both Kev and Shane have as their fifth guy or Kev's fourth guy, he's got the potential to be a much better tackle than Max Ionacor.
The thing is with Proctor is like at that size, he shouldn't be able to move the way he does, and that is always going to entice coaches and scouts. I mean, he wants to bury you, like you see him, but he has so much power. But I think sometimes he relies too much on his power, and he can get like maneuvered off a little bit too easy. But I mean, like he's so light-footed for that size, it's crazy. And like he keeps himself busy. He's always looking to hit someone. If no one's around him, he's going out there trying to lay someone out. So you kind of love that mentality. The mentality's there from him. So it's just whether you can put it all together and like refine sort of like a ball of clay type thing.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to go on, Aaron, what were you going to say?
As I say, he just gets lazy with his hands sometimes. He gets penalised. He's not sharp. He's not sharp in the thing. So
could be a bit clever and a bit savvy.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, let's look at your my guys at tackle.
Yeah. So my guys, here are the my guys. Kev, Caleb Tiernan from Northwestern. Take him away.
Yeah, I mean, one thing we love about like coming into the NFL, especially the offensive linemen, is starts, games. How much game have you played? And like in 4 years, he played his first year, played 11 games, second year, 13 games, next year, 12 games. Last season, played all 13 games at left tackle, second team all Big Ten. I think, he comes in at, what's his height now? So he comes in at 6'8", 323. I think he's an excellent pass protector. I think he's one of the best pass protectors in the whole class, in fact. He's quick off the snap. He's got very smooth kick side. It looks really, really nice. His footwork is really, really clean. His hand placement's good. I think like the things that let him down a wee bit is like, because he's so big, he's like a skyscraper of a man. He can struggle against leverage. If someone gets under him and wins the leverage battle on him, he can get put out of the rep quite quickly. He moves well, but he struggles with real speed, like real speed rush off the edges, can get round him a little bit too easy. And I think like his run blocking, he's violent with his run blocking. It's just a little bit inconsistent. And he just can lunge a little bit, trying to overcompensate. But yeah, I just think like as left tackles come again, they don't really make him like him. And I think like, he's got all those career starts and he's been good every year as well. I think again, he's just one of those players that can come in and just plug and play, the high floor, not too sure about the ceiling type player.
Yeah, and actually, Shane's favorite, Markel Bell, is a similar prospect in a way. Another massive guy, 6'9", 346, coming out of Miami. Again, something like 35.
6'9", Jesus
Yeah.
Christ.
Yeah, absolute behemoth. It doesn't have the same athleticism as a Proctor for his size, but it's still not out there. Just a day 3 guy for sure, but just has that I'd like a guy. I prefer to take this guy on day 3 than I would at Proctor on day 1 and or day 2 because early on day 2 because if it works, you're getting that massive value from your draft position. But if it fails, you're not giving up too much. It's worth the try. And so yeah, just a real measurables guy. That again, his tape is decent enough to say that there's potentially a starter quality player there, but maybe needs some NFL coaching to get there. And again, won't be starting for us. Or I wouldn't imagine for anyone in 2026, but 2027, 2028 could be a good developmental prospect. And finally, for me, Keegan Trost from Missouri. Actually, a really interesting story. So he's like one of these super seniors. He's a 7-year player. Played most of his time at Wake Forest, but moved to Mizzou this last year, and was absolutely phenomenal. All American from PFF, second team honors from Walter. He had he was the left tackle for the for the 8th graded rushing attack, and he basically gave up nothing in pass protection at all in the SEC. So they're against the highest level of competition. 6'5", 311. So again, more of the athletic mold. But completely broke out this year. There was nothing on his tape that he was this good. So whether he just, it's really strange that he had the breakout. He's he's got good hands. He's got a good wide base. He really works to move defenders. Fights them all the way through the whistle. And again, just what he did, he made some of the SEC edge players just look average, and we know the sort of talent that conference produces. But go back and look at his film at Wake Forest, and you think you're watching a different player, completely different thing, and you wouldn't have projected him to be a starter at Mizzou and have the season that he had. So just sort of a guy that I would take a flyer on as the uh, he's developed with in the right scheme and give him a chance, right? But he'll be an A3 guy as well.
Nice. All right. So 3 guys to keep your eye out for. All of the my guys that the boys bring up throughout the next few weeks. I'm going to keep tabs on them and see where they get drafted. And we'll
just got to give a quick shout out to Maxi Anachor, because I didn't talk about him. He was in our top 5s. Just want to give him a quick shout out. I have him as number 4. Shin has him as number 5. I mean, this is a 0-star recruit coming out of high school. He came over from Nigeria at 13, only playing football. And he goes to East Los Angeles College just to walk onto the football team. He started both tackle spots and then transferred as a JUCO to Arizona State. His first year, he played 6 games. Next year, he played 14 games at right tackle. And this past season, he played 12 games at right tackle, second team, all Big 12. I mean, he went into a JUCO at 240 pounds. And now he's 6'6", 325. And he looks trim with it. Like, he carries it really, really well. He's a proper road grader. Like, he's one that, he's an aggressive run blocker. He dominates his opponent. He keeps his feet moving. And he stays engaged and he fights through it. I think, there's so much to like with him. Yes, he's relatively new to football. He has no high school experience whatsoever. He lacks technical ability. I mean, he's good technically, but he needs refinement. He needs to work on his hands, his footwork. But he's just someone, when you watch him play the right tackle, that he plays the right tackle position in the way I love people playing the right tackle position. Like, he wants to go out there and dominate. And for someone with so little experience, see how good he is at this moment.
Raw talent, isn't it?
Oh, 100%, 100%. I think people will fall in love with him, and someone's going to get themselves a really, really good player, I think.
Oh, shall we move on to the guards? And Kev, can you guess who Shane might have as his top guard?
He's gone for a tackle, hasn't he?
He has not gone for a tackle.
No, of course. Sorry, my apologies. He's gone.
Someone
Viva
else.
La Vega.
Yeah, someone else might have gone for a tackle. So here we go, top 5. So there we go. Stefano is my number 1 guard as well, or interior offensive lineman as well. So yeah, Vega.
Love it.
If you ignore that though, Vega would be my number 1 as well. So it was almost a unanimous decision. Fano is a guard for Shane, so that's why he features here and not in the tackle. So Shane has him as number 2. Emmanuel Pregnon is Kev's number 2, is my number 3, it's Shane's number 4. Common names here, so Chase Bisontis is number 3 for Shane and number 4 for both me and Kev. Kalen Routledge is number 3 for Kev, also number 5 for Shane. If I wasn't including Spencer Fano, Kalen Routledge would be my number 5 because he appeared. So we've got the same kind of top 5 here, just in slightly different order. The guy that sneaks in for both me and Shane is the ginger mullet in Gennins Dunker as well.
My favourite guy in the draft.
Yeah, obviously the guy that was listed as a tackle, but is clearly going to move inside to guard. But yeah, why is Vega the standout number 1, Kev?
Oh, I think it's just he's 6'4", 320 pounds. He's thick. He's got powerful build, excellent body mass. He packs a punch with his hands. He knocks defenders off balance. Proper nasty finisher. The mentality in the run game is awesome. It's proper, I want to pitch you through the grind. And I love that. He keeps his feet moving through contact. He dominates defenders. He's explosive on down blocks, and he hits you with force. I mean, he doesn't care if you don't see him coming, because you're going to feel him coming. He can play both guard spots, which is good, which he's done in the past. I mean, he's relatively nimble for his size. Actually, he moves really, really well considering the size of him. I think sometimes he goes for the kill shot too often. He can sort of leave blocks unsecured, which can, not help the quarterback. I mean, quicker defenders can kind of throw him off balance as well a little bit, I noticed. His hands are a little bit low in pass protection, but, he's just exactly how you draw up an offensive guard. I think he's got all the attributes to be excellent in the league.
Yeah, and I think it's given how there's all the tackles have question marks, right? It's not outrageous to suggest that he might even be the first offensive lineman taken as a guard, and he's a guy that is, if you want one of these other guys to play at guard, well, just take the guy that's got the best guard tape, right? That played guard in college. So there's a way that you may take him at guard. And yeah, I won't change anything that you would say there. I'm going to move on to Pregnon, Emmanuel Pregnon from Oregon. Again, a guy that obviously, some of the he's more of a top of the second round guy, but had an amazing combine from an athleticism point of view. I think 99 percentile vertical, 35 inch vert. Massive hands, 11-inch hands. So just phenomenal. 94 percentile broad jump with 111-inch broad jump. So just that explosive power, and it's the sort of stuff that comes up on tape, right? He's the sort of guy that started at UFC, transferred to Oregon, and just absolute solid in the pass game. Didn't give up a single sack in 2024. First team All American for the 11-1 Ducks this year, and just 51 games, 3,000 snaps, and hardly a single bad play in it. He is just phenomenal. Doesn't necessarily have the ideal size, 6'4", 314, a little bit light, and doesn't necessarily move at the speed. Like I say, he's explosive in terms of his jumping ability, but it's 40 time 5.21. His 10-yard split was like 1.8, little bits on the slower side. So he's not necessarily a thing, but in the right scheme, he again has the potential to be like, why didn't this guy go in the first round? Because he has that level of potential. But yeah, just a really exciting prospect. And again, given where we are, he's predicted to be around the top of the second round. We need the right guard. This guy is a guy that I've mocked a number of times to us in that spot, and wouldn't be surprised if we hear his name called as for the New York Giants. A prospect I'm really excited about.
Yeah, I like Pregnon a lot. I mean, he is an older player. He's going to be 24, 25 when he comes out. But for offensive line, I don't think that's an issue, to be honest. And I like players that have played a lot of games in college. I think he's actually really good against bull rushers, and he matches power with power, which is good. He's got good grip strength when he gets hold of people. One thing I really like about his game as well, he seals off rushing lanes really well. He really he gets his body moved in a way he turns his back to the line of scrimmage so the running back can run along his back. I think he does that really, really well, and I think especially if we're going to be a running team, something like that is going to be class. I mean, he's a little bit stiff in the hips, struggles against quicker edge rushers, like you said already. But yeah, I mean, I think that's the sweet spot to pick up a player like that at 37, plug and play right guard. Thank you very much.
And your number 3, would be my number 5/6, if depending on where Spencer Farno's arms grade out. But Kalen Routledge, why do you like him?
Yeah, I like him. I think he's physical. Let me check. Let me check his size. So what's he now? He's 6'4", 316, so very similar to Pregnon. He played tight end and offensive line and defensive line and basketball in college. Shot put state champion. He's got that variety of sports. He did. He's a strong finisher. He's physical. He's a good combo blocker, which I love. He's really good against stunts and extra blitzers. I really love a smart player who can pick up stunts on the D line, because a lot of teams do that now, try and disguise stunts and disguise their extra blitzers. And he's really good at picking them up. One of those players that, again, he's got that dog in him. He plays through the whistle, which I absolutely love. Things to watch out for him, though, injury history. He had a really bad car crash in 2023 with an injured foot. It required like multiple surgeries over multiple years, to the point where at one point they even thought about amputation might need to be considered on him. But then to show resilience and come through that and to be able to play the way he did the past couple of seasons, I mean, it's absolutely phenomenal. Like, he's the type of player I want in my locker room. He can get a little bit too tall sometimes in pass pro, losing that leverage battle. And he only ever played right guard. That's the only position he's played. So, but he played a lot of games at right guard. So, for me, I think he's a good player, to be honest.
Yeah, and I think it's the injury. Some teams will have him off their board with the injury red flag, and this is why he may go later in the draft than his talent suggests he could go. But a decent player. I'm going to move on to my that's the tackles guard. Chase Bisontis. So you've got him 4, Shane got him 3. Again, he's a guy that has the fluidity to be tackle, plays like a tackle, but has short arms, incredibly short arms according to the 31 and 3/4. Let's give him a half an inch on top. Maybe he's 32 and a quarter inch arms. But a plus athlete. 5.0 40 time, a 32-inch vert. All in the kind of 90 percentiles. 6'5", 315. So average. It's like that for a guard. But a plus level. Performance. He gets underneath defenders, even though he's tall. He keeps his pad level low. He's a guy that can pull and move in space. So if you're going to run that kind of counter scheme, you're going to move your guards around and things. He's a guy that will work really well in there. And he showed a big improvement in his pass protection from freshman to junior year. So he is a junior coming out as well. So he's and of course he's his hometown is from New Jersey originally as well. So another guy that's in that mix at 37. Again, I would take Pregnon over him, but very slightly different prospects, but both got a lot to like and will deservedly go early on day 2.
Yeah, and I like him too. I mean, like, as a freshman, like, you don't start 12 games at right tackle for Texas A&M if you haven't got something about you. And they obviously saw something in him, and they made the projection of moving him to guard, which he played 10 games the next season at guard and 13 games the season after. He's an aggressive player. Again, we love aggressive players. It can get a little too over aggressive. I mean, what is it? 16 penalties, 8 penalties last year, 8 penalties the year before as well. So it can overextend and go for like the absolute kill shot a little too much. But I'd rather that than be too passive, because you can rein him in a wee bit. Do you know what I mean? I'd rather take a little bit of the dog out than try and put a little bit of dog into someone. But yeah, I mean, again, it's that sweet spot around that 37. If he's there and the other guards are gone, I have no issue with taking him and plugging him in and playing him.
Yeah, and then Dunker is the final guy that me and you have got on the board. Again, what a mullet! If anyone has seen the combine and seen it put to music, it's absolute artwork.
Holty agrees. What a mullet!
Yeah. Again, a tackle in college at Iowa. We know what Iowa's offensive line, tight ends, the kind of players that they produce. Apparently has a massive coffee before practice every day and drinks an insane amount of coffee before practice. Um, again, decent enough athlete, maybe not nothing that like really outstands, um, but just like a absolute, um, you know, if you've seen any of his interviews from Combine or Senior Bowl or I think it was East West or something that he was at. I can't remember, but just like the sort of guy that um, you know would be great in the locker room. Um, absolute um, uh, freak in the weight room. He's hard working, blue collar, all those kind of cliches. He's the 4-year starter, 38 career starts. He won the Joe Moore Award. He's a sort of guy that immediately his leadership transfers into an NFL locker room and makes his unit better because he's going to fire the guys up in practice. He's going to get people going. And like I say, his tape is decent. His foot quickness, little slow, and again, part of the reason why he'll go inside. But it doesn't have that necessarily really explosive get off. Decent vertical though, so he's got some level of explosivity in him. But I just think him moving into guard, he's built for a gap man running scheme, and will be a really solid guard at the NFL level.
I mean, yeah, he came into Iowa as a freshman, and he had to redshirt because he had a lower leg injury. Otherwise, I think he could have started. But you don't play double-digit games in the next 4 seasons for someone like Iowa if you haven't got something about you. I mean, he started. He's a dominant run blocker. He moves defenders at will. Nasty, aggressive. I mean, he's you can see he's an ex-wrestler. Like he's really got a wrestling background. And you can see that with his grip strength. When he gets like his hands on someone, he really got you. Like you're not going anywhere. Did you know as well? He was the Sullen Beef Days Hay Bale Toss champion. So he was. He got 2023. He was a Hay Bale Toss champion. Wow. 2023 for his area. There you go now. But yeah, again, he's good at picking up stunts and blitzers, which I love. He's got high motor, plays through the whistle. Like you said, everything you love about Aaron, the things I love about him as well. Like, he's going to add to the locker room, like you said. He's, a very good player, not just a good mullet.
And not just a good mullet, indeed.
I guess quickly we'll hit my guys at guard.
Yeah, go on.
So, and Shane has gone for Bo Stevens, who obviously knows Gennins very well. Played just inside him at Iowa, and arguably as a guard, a guard. That whole question that we had with Vega about if you want a guard, take the guard, right? He's in that same conversation as a high motor, Iowa offensive lineman. You're going to get a good player out of him, and again, a guy that may go on day 2, may slip into day 3, but a good, really good, solid guard prospect. And this draft, thankfully for the Giants, has quite a good guard class, interior lineman class, and knowing that maybe we're okay this year, maybe not okay this year, but like you said, JMS and John Runyon are end of contract next year. We definitely need to strengthen that room, and it would be nice to have a guy develop for a year before they have to start. So plenty of prospects in this thing. Micah Morris, Kev, your guy. Let's take it away.
Yeah, I mean, when I was watching Monroe Feeling, I was like, okay, watching some of his games. I'm like, who's this left guard next to him? Like early on in the games, he was just like big barrel-chested, thick body of a player, really strong anchor, good pad level. It looked like he would be better in the run game than the pass game, but he was actually quite good in the pass game as well. The thing with him, like the more you watch him later on in the game, you can see there's few conditioning issues. He appears to his the level of his play does tail off at the end of the games, and he can wrap his arms around. So if a player beats him, he can wrap his arm. He probably should have got flagged a bit more than he did, to be fair. So, but that's stuff I think you can work with. I think you can work in his conditioning, you can work in his technique. I just think, I was watching Freeling. I was just like, this guy looks, let me check out this guy as well. So he would be one of those sort of like later round picks that you would like to stash for a year and develop, and then you could have yourself a really good. So say, for example, if GVR comes back and we got someone like Morris later in like round 4, for example, GVR could start for the year while someone like Morris develops into your starting guard.
And for me, obviously we titled this guards, but we're bundled in the interior offensive lineman, and I've gone for a pure center. Now, with a name like Jake Slaughter, you may expect someone to look like
I love
that,
it. I love
right?
it.
But to have your combine photo with nerd glasses on,
I love it.
It's a bold look.
I'm all for it.
Look. But
Jake Slaughter, you're my guy as well.
Jake Slaughter is a 2-time captain, 3-year starter at centre for the Gators, and took on like an incredibly hard SEC schedule. He's 6'5", 305. He only gave up 1 sack in each of his seasons. He's a real people mover in the run game, and he's the sort of bigger interior guy or bigger centre that Harbaugh would like. He's really intelligent. He's called the pass protections. You can see him setting the offense up to that pass protections, which is really important. Translatable skill. He's a 3-time SEC honors student. I think he did it in something like agriculture or something as well, something like proper out there. But he's smart, but he is a mean guy too. He's a guy that will get onto people and move. So just a center for me, a center prospect that I thought was worth calling out, given that we may be looking for one to move into a starting role next year.
And he's only ever played center as well, but
yeah, that's right. Yeah, and he may go too early for us. He might be a 3rd round guy where we don't have a pick. And might be someone that's off the board by the time that we're turning our attention to the centre position. But just someone I thought was worth calling out, and his picture doesn't match his name or his play.
But look, one thing I like about him as well, his combo blocking with both guards are really, really good. And again, he's another one that opens up Russian lanes. Like he actually turns his back and opens up a nice lane for the rushers to be able to get through. So I do like Jake Slaughter. I think he's being slept on a wee bit. Fair play.
I mean, with a name like Jake Slaughter, I mean, he's already in my top 5. I'm just saying.
He's in your top 5 all name team already. Yeah.
Maybe. For those that want to know my top 5s. Make sure you get a copy of our draft Bible. It will be coming soon.
That's a tease, people.
A little tease. Gotta love that. Sweet. All right, guys. Enjoyed that. Enjoyed learning. There's some names I'm going to look out for. Some names I'm probably going to destroy multiple times. Still haven't got the hang of the tackle with the M.
Maui Noah.
That's the one. How that translates to Maui Noah, I don't know, but there we go. But first of our positional roundups for the draft in the books. Job done. Offensive line. Aaron's happy. Shane's also happy because he's not here. So win-win, right? Win-win. And Kev loves the big butts, so you know what I mean. We've got the right guys in the building. But unfortunately, that is all we have time for this evening. We'll be back next Wednesday. That's next Wednesday. To carry on our breakdown of this year's draft prospects. So got lots to look forward to in the coming few weeks as we're going to break down every single position. Maybe not long snappers or specialists, but we'll see.
We do need a long snapper.
I mean, we do. Are we going to draft a long snapper? Has a long snapper ever been drafted?
Tryouts. We'll have undrafted free agents. A few of them will try out.
Absolutely, they will. Exactly that. But anything else to add before we go, guys?
No, it's good to get on. Finally started our positional rankings. Absolutely love this time of year. Full of hope. There's a lot of good players in this draft. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to start discussing them over the next few weeks with you boys.
Yeah, and just a shout out to all the viewers. We hit like a 500 viewers of the last episode was one of the highest that we've seen for certainly for a long time. And you know, thank you for liking, subscribing, sharing, and getting us out there because yeah, that free agency frenzy had a lot of views.
And
Absolutely did, mate.
if you've got mates out there thinking about getting into American football, said it before. The NFL's this time to get in now, and the Giants, we are on the up, people. So say to your friends,
Yeah, we
look,
are.
check out the boys in blue, Big Blue UK and Ireland. Come and have a chat with us on here. We get some really good interactions. Not too much tonight because obviously it's a long one tonight because there's a lot of content. But we love the interactions with people on here. Tell them about us, send them in our direction, and we'll see you soon.
Jump on that giant bandwagon, because let's hope that bandwagon is here to stay for a little while. Lots to look forward to in the coming few years. So what better time to be a Giants fan, eh? Exciting young quarterback, exciting young running back, exciting young receivers, and plenty of other good players across the board as well. So what a good time to become a Giants fan. Get on it. Enjoyed tonight, lads. Learned a lot. There's some names I'm going to be looking out for come draft weekend. So thank you. Like I said, we're going to keep an eye on the My Guys throughout the draft as well. So we'll make sure we make a note of where they're picked and see if they sort of fall where you thought they would. See if they go where you thought they would, or if they go maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower, maybe if they don't get drafted at all. But we'll keep an eye on them and let everybody know where they went. As usual, like if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and get involved in the comments and get involved in the Giants family here in the UK. And those that have got involved in the comments this evening, we appreciate you for getting your thoughts and everything in there. It's been a good one. My thanks as ever. Go to Kev and to Aaron for joining me. We are signing off.